is good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Super League Live. Week 3 recap, Week 4 preview, and a little clinching scenarios. It's been a wild couple of days in Super League. It's been everything you could ask for we've had so far this Super League, and now we're getting to the climax, and that's the fun part when we get to the climax. Joining me is going to be Sean Ard. Obviously, no pro check here. It's just regular Ard now as we get back to the usual Super League. Or it's been a weird, let's face it, a weird Super League. A lot of names that a lot of people thought would advance are not going to be advancing, and a lot of people thought it were shoe-ins or not even going to be close. Your thoughts on what has been a wild Super League?
Well, what can you say? This is what people have been waiting on. It's been interesting, but you can't say it's been terrible. It's just there are some surprising things that have happened, and those surprising things there's some there's some great contenders here that are gonna get out that nobody had an idea they could even get this point.
Well, that's the beauty of Super League. There's really no linear answer in this league. It's first come, first serve any given week, any given game day. Let's get to the point standings, and we'll start it off with Week 3, Group A, the Marshall Lamas, as always, the man. Starting it off with Lara gone, tied up at 6 points, 6 on the GD, but of course Lara technically has the tiebreaker. If it was down a straight tiebreaker, one to head-to-head. Remember, tiebreakers go as follows. GD, head-to-head, or the main two. Then it goes down to, what is it? I'm drawing a blank. Wow, that shows you how long I've been in this damn thing. Is it road record? Something like that. I don't even know. Oh, no, points without last place, then road record. Right, that's it. I got it.
And then college, and then there will be a college OT if that even gets to that point. But it should end by at least head-to-head.
Let's hope it doesn't get there. It adds more days for no reason. And those aren't good days, because if we do those days and we have college OT, then Art's got a host, and those are non-stream days. That's all him. So let's hope we don't have those days.
Let's hope not.
No, those are not YouTubeable events if we have to go. Those are best of twos and whatnot. So let's hope we don't have to go there. But anyway, then we got Laragana advancing right now. We end today. Nick at a bye, 4 points. He's in. And then Brad Cedar, which shocking to say the least, at a whopping 1-0 and a -6 and -10. Yeah, I don't got anything for those guys. We'll save them for the clinching scenarios, because there's a lot of interesting. Let's just say there's a lot of interesting scenarios. I don't want to spoil too much, because that's going to be its own separate category. Now, Group B, pretty simple. Acosta, Monkey, realistically, same kind of deal. Acosta leads the group outright. Not only head-to-head, but more GD, 6-6. But Monkey hasn't had his bye yet, so Acosta's in. Background squarely in. Varigold and Toasty, we'll talk more about them later. Just something just shocking on Toasty. It's so hard to talk about without spoiling, but just a shocker of a super lead from Toaster guy. That's all I will say with him. So that's it for that. Week 3 recap, we'll get into it. Before we get to that, your thoughts on the point stands for both groups. A lot of interesting people moving on. We ended today Acosta, Monkey, BC in Group B, and in Group A, of course, Nick, Gon, and Lara. Thoughts on that?
Man, here's the thing. I'm not surprised on the Group A side with Gone, he's stepped up to the plate and he has basically shut everybody up doubting him. He's proven all the haters wrong. That's the point that I'm gonna say. Now, on Lara, good, great. Lara's been on a tear. Where did Lara come from? Because it was out of nowhere, basically. And it's been a great performance. On the Group B side, seeing someone like Gold down there, who's someone who has done well in Super League, shocking enough. Same thing on the Toasty part. But then you got Acosta. Man, Acosta's been doing the same thing as Lara. And then you had the two people who were on bye, which was Nick and background character. I think now they know where they're at this point, and they're gonna have a good chance here coming up.
Yeah, I think Toaster Guy is probably the biggest shock, and Caesar as well. Brad, Marigold, the people that everyone thought would get in right now are the bottom four. And you look at the people that are in. I expected personally. I think Nick was the one guy I thought, okay, he'd probably be good for Group A just to kind of get fiery. I'm not surprised with Acosta personally. I did say he had some. Monkey's a little surprising background. Still could be relegated out, but we'll see how it goes because there's a lot of moving and shaking to go. But we'll go to Group 3, Group A and B recap. We'll start it off with the. We'll go on the schedule. That's fine. So we'll start off with Group B, Week 3. Toasty Acosta was not there for that. It was an 83-minute game, so that was a long one. Costa was down 2-1 early, but then rallied back to win 5 straight. And that was all she wrote for Toasty. 0-3 in rematches. Not a good second time around for Toast. Not only 0-3 in rematches are, but outplayed. He basically admitted here, looking back, he just got outplayed. And against background, I don't think he got outplayed. I think he was out card locked. Against against Monkey, it was a little bit back and forth. But against Acosta, he had a fair chance, just got outplayed. Thoughts on Acosta win that one pretty convincingly, and Toaster Guy, we'll talk a little bit about later. Where does he go from here?
Here's the thing, Acosta, again, as I just said a little bit ago, has been dominating basically since the start. Acosta just got on that horse, started running. Didn't even wait a second later just to get out of the gates lightning quick. That is great on Acosta's part. But Toasty got outplayed, yeah. And it was just to go from here, it's just try to get anything. Get at least something, because at this point you're in no man's land. You got nothing to lose now.
We'll talk about it a little later with both. I'll say this much. I'll start on the. We'll just say the Acosta. Yeah, we just interviewed him. What a story he is, man. You know, we talk about him being such a slow pace, really unique style player, and it's working. And I think the reason why he's so good now is because no power play. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to call it right now. I think he can win Super League. I really do.
I think he can try to go. I think once he gets into the knockout stages, I think he can try to make a run.
I know he's not. I know I've talked to him privately. He's not really interested in winning this year. He's just interested in the experience. But we talk about this. What did Pac Johnson do before he turned to Stack? What did he do? He wasn't interested in winning T3. And what did he do? He won. And that's been a trend this year. When you're not really looking for something, you're just going out there for the vibes. Seems to be a recipe for success. Now, for Toast, I'll get to later about the clinching scenarios where I think his head needs to go. Because there are some things I think that were just rough for him. And he got some bad draws in the group, which we'll talk about later. Speaking of nothing to really show for, Brad, he was down 2-1 unlike Toasty, but other than a good Game 5 win, he got card lucked out. I mean, he had a couple weird bad beats with double wild to end it, but Lara just seemed to control it. Had the card luck. Can't really say much because, as I said, Art, it just seemed that a lot more card luck was in favor of Lara and Brad was a sitting duck. So I won't say too much on this one, unlike the Toaster game. Big 6-2 for Lara, moves to 6 points. Thoughts on Brad losing that game and Lara taking control?
Oh yeah, I'll go with Lara here first. Taking control. It again, just said it just a second, a little bit ago. Lara's been on the run here, and yeah, it's got a bit of card luck there. But when you think about it, Lara's been more good, as we saw during the broadcast, on the road side of things. Been on when starting on the road, Lara's been one of those consistent players. I think that consistency added up to how one-sided this game was because again, Brad only got the game 2 and game 5 wins. In both of those, he barely won. And then on the Brad situation, he tried, and I mean he really tried. Like you could see how the game went, and you would thought Brad couldn't, but he really did, and I don't know what else you can really say on for him.
Yeah, I think Brad will have to go to the drawing board, unfortunately, and think about what went wrong. Don't really have much to say on Lara. Like I said, just similar to Acosta, I think can make a run and try to get to a Super League win. I really do. I think they're both going to be in pretty good hands coming into this next week, and got a feeling if it does matter in week 5, it's going to be very minimal. If it doesn't, well, then they're just going to take the night off and get ready and use that week 5 as a tune-up for round 12. It's really all I can say, and there's not much else to really say, indeed. And I just think there's a lot more. There's just a lot more in the tank, I think I'm going to say, for both players of Lara and Brad. But I think Lara's on the upward. I don't really know what happened here. Caesar gone 7-1. This is. I don't know. Did not see this game. I tried to look back at it. It seemed to be an ammo fight, and Caesar just lost. I feel sorry for the guy because, you look at Jay. He's been on a week 1 bye trying to steal some maybe thunder, and it hasn't worked out. Gon's been proving people wrong for sure. Some of the scheduling, yeah, it's been a little rough, but he's been able to shut it up, and as you said, shut the doubters up. The question I'm going to have now is, does Caesar bounce back? Because that's a tough one. We haven't had a 7-1 ever. We've had some 6-0s, but 7-1s are just as bad. And we'll see where he comes in week 4. What do you think, Gar? It's hard to read this game because I wasn't there, and you don't see 7-1. It's hard to really give an analysis, to say the least.
Yeah, that was really just a bad turn of events there for Caesar, especially with the whole mess up with scheduling there. I don't know what much else to think there on for Caesar. I know he wants to try to bounce back here. It's just, is it getting to the point where it's almost getting too little, too late?
We won't get too much into that because technically, uh, he still has a chance, right? There's really not much to say about Gon. He's in a similar spot to Lara. It's going to take a lot to not make it at this rate. But we have seen stranger things. And stranger things have happened. And he's got a tough opponent the upcoming week. And so does, ironically, Lara, which we'll talk about. Now, this was the best game of the week. Monkey Gold, that one was nail-biting down to the wire. Gold nearly ties it up, but Monkey nearly blows it, gets a Game 8 win, saves maybe his season, ironically, because he was fading, he was reeling, and he had to do something big, and he got it. Um, I don't know. It was a good game, but I think there was more to be desired on both ends. Monkey, of course, for not finishing strong, and then for Gold, it's just what's happened. This was supposed to be a game that Gold was supposed to at least tie, if not win outright, and didn't happen. And now faces a not going to say a desperate situation, but a really critical must do well situation. Thoughts on both players? Because Monkey's trending in the green, Gold in the red.
Well, barely into the green for Monkey, really. Here's the problem. It's about finishing the job, and he had two other games before that where he could have finished the job and get it done early. But he didn't get that chance, and that's going to be a problem here. Like, right now, if you're Monkey, you want to focus on trying to get to the point where you can finish the job and not try to get your opponent anywhere close to almost either tying or beating you. And that could have happened. Now on the Gold situation, to put it very straightforward here, I got no idea what's going on with Gold situation. He's in a rough spot, and it's questionable right now.
I don't know either, Art. I really I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm not sure what to think about either player because Gold's such a good player on runs. The problem is Monkey has been good at defensive measures this year. And we've talked about how defensive measures and playing defensively is just as good as playing offense. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe I'm blowing smoke here, but when there's something to that, it can make a difference. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. Now, that's it for the Week 3 recap. Really, I'd say who won the week. Really, it's hard not to point to Acosta, man. I really think he won the week because, no offense to Monkey, he barely won. Gone, if it wasn't for the scheduling antics, that would have been my guy to say he won the week. But Acosta's 6'2". Considering he had lost to Toasty in the first time they played, to go that dominant and look pretty damn good, he's got to be my guy of the week. Player of the week. What do you think, Art? You got someone different, or is that a fair assessment?
I would say that's a fair assessment. It's just how Acosta's been sort of playing. It's just he. There's no way that you can go anywhere else except the closest person I almost would want to throw in is Lara.
Yeah, Lara would have been a close second, sure. I think Lara would have been right there. Because Monkey would have been last gone if it wasn't for the scheduling. I actually would have put it number one. But I think it's only fair under normal circumstances. It just seemed that it was Acosta, man. He was number one. I think this week it was beat Toaster, right? After the first time they had played where he lost pretty bad. He got revenge, and he got revenge in a big way to get 6-2. That's not easy. And now he enters himself in a good spot. Well, let's get to it, Art. Let's get to those scenarios. And here's the scenarios. We're going to start off with Group A. Lara advances with a win or a tie. So, pretty much how that works is if Lara advances with a win or a tie, he's in. Now, you're probably saying, Kay, well, where does Caesar come in? Well, the problem is he plays Caesar, so that's something to keep in mind. Gone, he's got to get a win or a tie, or he can get a loss to Nick, and all it'll take would be a Caesar tie. So if Gone wins, he's in. He ties, he's in. If he loses, he can still get in with a Caesar tie. Or loss, basically. But a Caesar tie would put Caesar at 2, Gone at 6. There's only 1 week left. He's done. Nick can only advance with the win only. The reason why I say that, well, win. Actually, that's not true. No, he can advance. I'm sorry. He can advance with a win or a tie and a Caesar tie. That's a little harder to get because if he doesn't win, he gets a tie and Caesar wins. I think Nick is still going to have to sweat it out for week number 5. I have a feeling. So I'm not going to say he's anywhere close to advance, but the other two are out of those 3 that we know can advance. Which one do you think has the best shot? Do you think Lara gone? You think all 3 advance after this week, or do you think 2 will advance? What do you think?
I want to say two. The
Okay.
two I got is Lara and Gone.
Um, it's tricky, right? Because if Caesar wins, Lara technically still wouldn't be in any danger unless he loses like 8-0 or something. Um, I'm going to make a bold prediction. It's going to be a little bold, but I think Nick's going to advance. That's it. I think Lara
Okay.
might. Yeah, I think Lara and Gone will because the reason, and I'll tell you the reason why is because I mentioned Brad or Caesar. Well, Brad, he's done. If Nick ties, he's done. There's nothing he can do. He's got to hope Nick doesn't tie. He's got to hope Nick loses. So he needs Gone to win. So for Brad, he needs a Gone win or else he's done. For Caesar, if he loses, he's done. Right? So that's the other thing. If Brad gets a Nick tie, then we're not even discussing him. And if Caesar doesn't beat Lara, week 5 is useless in this group. It's useless. Right? So that's the problem with this group. I think the fact of the matter is one person can advance. I'm going to go with the one just Nick. I think Caesar's got something in store. And I think Gone will have to sweat it out again because if Caesar wins, technically, it goes down to that last week and Gone will be on that week 5 bye, which we'll get to. So I'm only going to say Nick gets it. I think he'll be hungry and he'll get it in. But I could be wrong. Hard to read. Now, Group B, well, let's just off the bat. Toasty's eliminated. So Toasty, he can only play spoiler. I know I got to go. Before we even get to the scenarios, how did this happen? I mean, just where did it go wrong, do you think, for Toaster Guy? And what does he got to do for next year?
Where it went wrong, I did not to be harsh on this, but I think it's when it came to the moment, the bright lights, the feeling of the moment. He crumbled like a house of bricks. Like, not to be harsh on that, but that's the best I can tell. What are you playing for next year is try to get into those moments. Like, if you're in a stream atmosphere, be ready to go at all times, but also learn a little bit on what you can do to try to counteract anything your opponent can do.
Yeah, it's hard to know. The problem is with Toaster Guy, he got 3 straight rematches. And you got to understand, other than Acosta, who Acosta lost to him, the other 2 wanted to beat him badly. In the sense that they had won against him, they wanted to go for the 2. Acosta was already naturally wanting to win because he lost the first time. I think he just ran out of steam, and it's hard to fault the guy because it's not like DJ where he had 0 points. There was no rematches there other than Lane. And he was just more of a house money player. This was different because Toasty had 3 rematches, and it just psychologically affects you. When you're in a group with people you know, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? They all know your style. You know their style. You really can't get out of the box. And I think for Toast, it's just a bad case of, hey, I couldn't get out of the funk, and I wouldn't take it to heart. Now, next year, it's got to be more of a regular season where he's got to look for another 7-8 win season, 9 wins. Get to the dance and then go from there, but we'll see if he gets there. Gold, and I'll start with Gold. Gold, has to tie at least. Or if Gold doesn't tie, it's over. And Toasty and Gold play each other, so that's one thing to keep in mind. The other three scenarios: Acosta advances with the winner or a tie, or he can lose and he can get a Gold loss or a tie. Um, I think it's looking good for him. And Monkey, he's on a bye. Now, he's on a bye, so he can't do anything to get points. So he needs a Gold loss or tie. If Gold loses or ties and 2-6, not enough points. So that's what Monkey's looking for. That Toasty game matters to him. And that'll be Friday. BC really can only win for a tie and a Gold loss. So if background ties and Gold ties, then it comes to 2-5. Then it comes down to that last week, and we'll see what happens. But if background loses and Gold wins we got a lot more storylines, because then Costa's in, Monkey's not safe. It can get really convoluted if Gold does win. And if Costa wins and runs away with it, that last week is just a tune up. But it's going to come down to the scenario for that Toasty Gold game. That's going to set the stage, ironically, for what's ahead. Thoughts on this group? Who's going to advance? How many people do you think make it out? This one's a little hard to know.
I'm gonna say one. One's gonna advance, and I think it's gonna be Acosta.
Yeah, I thought about it. I think it's going to be the same. I'm going to go with the AC man. He's sorry, I hit the mic. I think Acosta's been really good. He's been the best player, I would say, in Super League right now. His style works with no power play. It just does. And yeah, I think the fact that he can slow the game down, use ammo control, and have a new challenge in background, no rematch, I think that's where it's going to be at. And he doesn't really need much. A tie, right, even just a single point, he's in the kitchen and he's going to be able to cook. So it's looking good for him. I'm going to go to Costa for sure. That's it for the scenarios. Obviously, Toaster's gone. There's only 9 left, and I'm just going to call it like it is. Brad is hanging on by a thread, and Varigold is, I would have said hanging on by a thread, but we know who's playing. Caesar's got to get it going. You know, there's a chance. It's not out of the ordinary where Week 5 could be meaningless. We've never had a Week 5 meaningless where everybody's locked in before we get to Week. That would be the first time. Now, at that point, it would just be, okay, if it's meaningless on who gets advancing, then it'd just be who gets the top seed, the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, yeah, really interesting if we indeed had that meaningless Week 5. That would be something to say the least. Your thoughts entering Week 4 hard and Week 3 recap before we get to the Week 4 predictions. You know, we already said Acosta won the week. Who do you think's under the most pressure entering this Week 4? Who do you think? Name one.
Oh, man, this is difficult because there are a couple. But if I can name one who's under the most pressure, I'm going to go with Nick.
Nick? Okay.
I'm going Nick.
What's the reasoning?
He's got a lot. He's got a lot on his plate right here with this upcoming game that we're about to talk about. Because he needs a lot of help here if he wants to advance into the knockout stage.
Yeah.
So it's
okay.
So he's in a really tough spot. It's going to be interesting to know if he is going to step up, or is it going to be on to week 5 here to hope to get him in.
See, I like Nick having a chance in week 5, though. I want to go with someone that we don't think may have a chance, and that's got to be Gold. Gold's got to get a result, tie or win. Caesar has to win, but we know Caesar's first time here, right? Gold's been here. If you don't make it past this stage, and you have Caesar, Brad, Toasty already gone, the 4 people that really were supposed to all make it, and none of you make it, with only really Nick being the one guy that maybe people thought would, and you got a bunch of underdogs, that's not going to look good on your resume. Gold's got to think, you know what, turn the Jets up now. Whatever was going on early stages of the week, couple weeks early, it's time to go. It's time to move. No more goofing off. No more messing around. It's time to roll. I got to go Varigold. This is a player that's been here, done that before. And when you've done that before and you've been there and you've made Final Fours in this entire Super League format, get your act together. Simple as that. And I think Gold understands that and has said, I'm going to put the hurt on Toasty. But let's see what happens. Let's get to week 4. Let's begin. Group A. We started off with the match that is your buddy Nick versus Gon. Who wins in Wyard? What do we got?
I almost want to throw down the hammer here. I almost want to be absolutely insane when I say this. Here's the reason why I'm saying this. How the bot is saying that this is almost going to be even, that's a whole understatement. Because what Gon did last week, even with the little bit of controversies that happened, Gon's been playing pretty good. Well, Nick, on the other hand, is a little bit wobbly here. I think Gon has been checking on how Nick does, even though Nick's done the same. I think Gon is about to pull a 6-2 on Nick.
That's a bold call. Both Nick and Gon are in a good spot. I'm going to say tie. And the reason why I say tie is because I think Nick and Gon, knowing that they're playing first in that group, technically, they're going to be playing tomorrow at 4. And Caesar Lara at 2. If they get the tie, then Gon's in automatically, and Nick would basically pray for a Lara tie or win at that rate. I think Nick's going to play for the win, but if he doesn't get it and he gets a tie, then he puts all the eggs in the basket of Caesar. And you got to think, all right, if we flip over to the Group A stand, the problem is if Nick gets the tie, right, and let's say he does get that tie, next 2 weeks he gets a tie, then he's at 6 points. The problem is Caesar is 14 points down on GD, which is the first tiebreaker. Caesar would basically have to go to the equivalent of the following to even approach Nick. He'd have to go 7-1 one week, which would put him at -4, and then he's got to 8-0 somebody. Is that really going to happen? No. I don't see it personally. So Nick knows he's got to get 2 ties. He cannot afford a tie and a loss, basically. Because if he gets a tie and a loss and Caesar wins the next 2 outright, then it's a different story. I'm going to go tie here. I think he gets one of those ties he needs, and Gon will advance. I know I said Nick would be the guy to advance. But I think my gut instinct tells me that they're just going to tie. I think they're both going to see the score system, and they're going to see, you know what, we don't need to be pushing it that much. It'll be a tie. But it could be a Gon blowout. We've seen blowouts. We've seen blowouts before. And momentum matters. So it's a good prediction, I will say. Lara Caesar is pretty simple. If Lara wins or ties, moving on. Caesar has to win. And at this rate, he's going to have to win big or hope that Nick ties, because he's 16 points down. So even if he 8-0s Lara, right? Let's say he 8-0s Lara, which is not going to happen. That would just tie him. A lot's going to still have to happen. What's your thoughts on this one, Art? Caesar versus Lara, who wins and why?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the dream's over for Caesar. CPU's got it right on the head. I'm going to go with the CPU. Lara 6-2.
It pains me to say it, but I think you're going to be right. I think Lara wins 5-3, but I just don't know what happened, man. You know, Caesar's been a guy that's been around the block. He has a lot of EXP on this bot. I hope I'm dead wrong and he actually makes a fight of it because it pains me to see him this low. But at the same time, the aggression strategy, I just don't know if it's good with no power play. Maybe he's figuring, you know, I'm an underdog, I got nothing to lose. Maybe I slid in the Super League barely. Maybe there's that element we're missing. Okay. But at the same time, what are you really going to do? What are you really going to say if you're Jay? You know, what are you supposed to say for Jay Caesar? And if it just isn't his year, it isn't his year. As simple as that. Sorry, I'm trying to get these graphics here. Hold on, just give me 1 second. Apologies, trying to flip them over. There we go. Group B. Okay, it's flipping over. Group B now. Apologies there. Let's start it off, Art. Acosta background, the kickoff to week 4. Gonna be this might be the game of the week because the last game really is an exercise for one. Thoughts on Acosta versus background? I think this is the game of the week. Who gets it done? Give me a barn burner.
It might be, and I want to say this might be an interesting one, but I got Acosta winning 6-2.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's my prediction exactly. I think Acosta's going to win. Not 6-2. I'll go 5-3. I like where he's at, man. It's just this style of... If this was a power play game, you know, maybe a little different, but with no power play and, you know, the fact that he's been just so good in this format, what more does he need, you know? What more does he really need to go out there and perform? He's been at a great level, and I like where he's at, man. I really do. And to have that 5-3 in your back pocket, get the 9 points, and basically take week 5 off and don't care about it, you're in a good spot. And for background, I think the pressure's on. I think week 5 is going to be everything. Unless we get the mother of all upsets, Art. Toasty gold, everything to lose, everything to gain. Toasty, nothing to lose, nothing to gain other than play spoiler. Is it going to happen? What do we think?
I don't see a spoiler here. I say gold keeps the dream alive. CPU's got it on the money. Gold wins 6-2.
I think Gold and Toasty are going to put up a good fight. And I think the spoiler will happen, Art. I think Toasty's going to play spoiler maker. He's got nothing to lose, and he's really good when it comes to free. I think Toasty knocks out Varigold on a tie. Now, what I mean by that is, well, maybe if background wins then, or background loses, Gold would still be in it. I think Toasty plays spoiler. It'll be a tie. Don't think he'll win outright, but it'll be a tie, and it puts Gold in a really crucial position week number 5, which means Gold would have to win under our predictions and, you know, see what happens against, I believe it's Acosta, right? So that's the thing, right? Because Monkey and Background play each other at the end, right? They play each other at the end of the week 5, and if Acosta advances, think about it, if Acosta advances and Monkey's in, you'll wonder, too, that's the element of, well, how hard are they going to try? So even Background would be in a good spot to just say, you know what, all I got to do really is just get a tie myself. And with GD being a thing, even if Varigold gets a a 5-3 or a 6-2. It's not going to be enough. It has to be a 7-1 due to the -2 +4. I don't see enough where Barrigo could advance, but he's under the most pressure. But I got a feeling that Toasty's going to play spoiler maker and tie it. It's got a gut feeling. Well, that's it, Art. We'll revisit our predictions at the end of Week 4 into Week 5. 8 more games to go left, man. That's it. 8 more games left of the group stage. It's been a great group stage so far. We're going to have an episode next week. We'll have confirmed now Monkey on Monday at 8 o'clock. That's going to be, or Tuesday. Was it Monday or Tuesday, 8 o'clock? I believe it's Monday.
I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, no.
Monday,
8 o'clock. Okay.
I don't have it on the event because he just confirmed. So, 80. Oh no, so it is Tuesday. You're right. Okay, so ADST Tuesday. We're gonna get it going. 4 games, 3 of them tomorrow, 1 Saturday. There is no our only scheduled off day is Super League. Can you imagine that? Is Sunday. It's our only off day.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, let's enjoy it as much as we can.
Well, I won't. Well, technically this week I'm off. I'm not going to be streaming any of the games going out, so I'll be at Moto America. But I do hope everyone has a good Week 4. I'm hoping Monday we can have that will be a good show. Week 4 to 5. I want to have a good Week 4 to 5 show. But that's TBD because I'm not doing the write-ups. I'm not doing the YouTube descriptions. Unfortunately, the time I get back, which would be basically what it'd be. Basically, Sunday night, I'm not going to have enough time. I may be able to do the voiceovers on Monday, or Sunday night if I get back in time. That's about all I can do this week. So we're not sure if we're going to have the Week 4 to 5 show on Monday. If we have it Monday, it will be 7 o'clock. If we don't, then we'll just push it to Wednesday. Which would be the no, wait a minute. No, it'd be it'd be Wednesday. It would be a Wednesday thing. Okay. So yeah, it's gonna be either a Wednesday or a Tuesday. We'll see. We could do before the Monkey interview. We could do a day show at 2. I don't know. Don't know the plan yet. We're still waiting on what we're gonna look into that, but we will have a show for you there. After that, that's it. We don't do these shows really much for the round 12. And we will do them, but that's all we have scheduled. There's not many interviews left to be done. Only Brad is left, I believe, after Monkey. And we'll have to get a time for him. Other than Brad, we're pretty much done with the coverage after that for interviews. It'll just be these live shows and then maybe some fun putt party things. We're looking to bring that back maybe. But that's all we got left, Art. We're almost done.
Yeah. Again, we're enjoying the ride as we can here. It's been fun.
It has been fun, folks. Check us out. Enjoy the 4 games this weekend, 3 of them tomorrow. So it's going to be a hell of a time, to say the least. Looking forward to getting it started and making it happen. So check us out tomorrow, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. 3 straight games. Toasty goal today. 1 o'clock is going to be Acosta back. It could be the game of the week, and then 4 o'clock. Nick versus Gone. Then Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern, Caesar versus Lara. If Caesar doesn't win, it's over. The dream is done. Keep that in mind. It's the elimination game for Caesar. Lara looking to end Caesar's dream. We'll see how that goes. Until then, I will see you guys. Next time you'll see me, you'll catch me either Monday or Tuesday, depending on how we get the write-ups and the reminders and all that of the games. I'll be back for Week 5. Art will be here tomorrow at 1 o'clock with commentating against Seth on the scene versus background. Until then, we're out. We'll see you around. Check us out. Week 5 coming soon. Near theaters near you. Have a good one. Have a good night.